देवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for today's session. From today, we'll discuss the shlokas of Sikshastakam, which are personally given to us by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He did not write so many books, but he inspired transcendental authors like Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, who wrote so many books. But personally, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us these 8 shlokas of Sri Chaitanya Sikshastakam, which are very profound, very deep, and they describe the glories of Krishna Bhakti, the holy names, and overall the mood of a devotee in one's devotional service to Krishna. Today we will discuss the first shloka of Chaitanya Sikshastakam that describes the 7 effects of Krishna Sankirtana. When it says Krishna Sankirtana, that Sankirtan is Krishna's Nama Sankirtan or Rupa Sankirtan or Guna Sankirtan or Leela Sankirtan. Kirti means glory. Kirtana means to glorify. Krishna Sankirtana means to glorify Krishna's names, forms, pastimes, and qualities. To glorify Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela is Sri Krishna Sankirtana. And it's not necessarily only chanting the holy names. Krishna Sankirtanam can refer to glorifying Krishna in any ways. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically talks about Nam Sankirtan in the second shloka of Sikshastakam. But in the first shloka, he generally speaks about Krishna Sankirtanam. That can refer to Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. But specifically about name, he will mention in the second shloka. Now, the first shloka talks about Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. And when you say Kirtana, it's not necessarily singing. Many times when you hear the word Kirtan, we may think that, oh, it's singing the names of the Lord, singing the glories of the Lord. But Kirtan can also refer to glorifying the Lord through just words. With your body, mind, and words, you can glorify the Lord. So glorifying the Lord with your words is you speak about Him or you sing about Him. Glorifying the Lord within your mind means you think about Him, think about His Nama Rupa Guna Leela. And glorifying the Lord with your body basically means engage yourself in the service of the Lord. When you render service to the Lord, that's like glorifying the Lord with your body, isn't it? So in this way, Krishna Sankirtanam has a wider scope. It's not necessarily singing the holy names of Krishna. It is glorifying Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela with your body, mind, and words. 3 into 7. 3 and 4. 3 into 4. So 12 days. So Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela are glorified with your body, mind, and words. That is Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So with this little prelude, let's begin the first shloka. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam. आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्. This shloka has multiple elements. We will discuss the meaning of this shloka in multiple installments. Let's focus on one line first, one aspect first, discuss it nicely, then we'll go to the next one. But to begin with, let me give the meaning of the overall shloka. First, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. What does it mean? Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, I just spoke. It is glorifying Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela with your body, mind, and words. That is Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Param Vijayati means let there be glory, let there be victory to Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. This whole process of glorifying Krishna, Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela should be victorious, should be well spread everywhere. That's the meaning here. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So when you do Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, what's the benefit you are going to derive? What's the result that you are going to get? That we are going to see step by step. First, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Darpana means a mirror. Cheto Darpana means the mirror of heart. Marjanam. And the mirror of the heart is cleansed. When you do Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, the mirror of the heart is cleansed. Now, why heart is compared with mirror? Generally, when you see a mirror, you can see your reflection in the mirror. And also, sometimes when the mirror is very dusty, then you cannot see your reflection properly. It's blurred, isn't it? And if the covering of the dust is like so thick, you can't even see yourself at all. If the dust covering is very faint, you can see your reflection faintly. But when the dust covering is very thick, you can't see yourself at all. Similarly, the heart is compared to mirror. Just as when the mirror is covered with dust, you cannot see yourself. When the heart is covered with lust, you cannot see yourself. We cannot see the Lord. We cannot see ourselves. So in this heart, there is Paramatma. And of course, there is Atma also. Atma and Paramatma are there. Atma is the living entity. Paramatma is the Supreme Lord. So both are there in the heart. But when the heart is covered with lust and pride and envy, greed and all kinds of anarthas, which are like dust, then we won't be able to see the Lord and see ourselves, understand our own true glory. So we need to clear this. We'll discuss this line more deeply after some time, but let me just give the basic meaning. First, Cheto Darpana Marjana means cleanses the mirror of heart. When you do Sri Krishna Sankirtana, the mirror of your heart is cleaned. Second, Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. Agni means fire. Davagni means forest fire. Sometimes in the forest, there is some friction between the bamboos, dry bamboos, especially in summer. And that friction between bamboos will create a big fire. And that fire that began near one little bamboo bush can spread throughout the forest. And it can completely destroy the forest. That is called Davagni, forest fire. And Bhava. Bhava means this material existence. In this material existence, there is constant friction between people in situations, lot of tensions and stress and lot of difficulties in this world. And those difficulties in this material existence are like Mahadavagni, great forest fire. Davagni is forest fire. Mahadavagni means great forest fire. Nirvapanam means that great forest fire of material existence or samsara is extinguished by Sri Krishna Sankirtana. Clear? Second effect is clear. Then let's see the third effect. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Very sweet description is given here. Shreya means auspiciousness. One second, there is some, yeah. Okay. Shreya means auspiciousness. Kairava Chandrika means soothing moon rays. Vitaranam. When the moon appears in the sky, he will completely relieve you from all the scorching rays of sun, right? During the daytime, when the sun is scorching so much, then you feel heat and sweat and you are not very comfortable. But in the night time, in the evening time, when the moon slowly starts rising, and when the moon rises so high into the sky, and as the night progresses, you'll find a cooling effect. So just as the rising moon destroys the heat of sun and also spreads the rays of cool rays of its benediction, similarly Sri Krishna Sankirtan also uh, showers the moon rays of benediction and destroys the scorching heat of material existence. We will see more in greater detail later. So spreads the rays of benediction. Then fourth effect is Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Vidya is knowledge, and that Vidya is considered Vadhu here. So Vidya is knowledge, Vadhu means a bride. Jivanam means the bride considers uh, her husband to be Jivanam, to be the life and soul. Mhm. Similarly, uh, when we chant uh, when we chant the holy names of the Lord, or when we glorify Krishna, and that Krishna Sankirtana acts like the real life for all transcendental knowledge. When we acquire knowledge, the knowledge is supposed to have some object. What's the point of acquiring so much knowledge? If you ask an average student going to the college or school, ask them, why are you studying? They will say, I want to get a job. First, they will say, I want to get good rank. Why do you want to get good ranks? I want to get a good job. Why do you want a good job? Then they will say that I want a good car or bungalow or good life, etc., etc. So material education is intended, is acquired for livelihood. That's very clear. Everybody has that. Similarly, there is spiritual education, spiritual knowledge. So the material education is for jivanam, for one's livelihood, but spiritual education is for atma jivanam. That's the life and soul of the soul. It's the life of the soul. So that is life of all transcendental knowledge. We'll discuss more. Then fifth point, anandambudhi vardhanam. Ananda means bliss. Ambudhi means ocean. Anandambudhi vardhanam means when you do Sri Krishna Sankirtana, that will increase the ocean of bliss. Sixth effect, Pratipadam Purana Amrita Asvadanam. Pratipada means every word that you speak in glorification of Krishna will help you experience the nectar, taste the nectar at every step. Purana Amrita. Amrita means nectar. Purana means complete. Asvadana means to taste. So when you do Sri Krishna Sankirtana, at every step, with every word, you will be able to taste the divine nectar of Krishna's glories, Krishna's love. Seventh, Sarvatma Snapanam. Snapanam means bathing. Sarvatma means your soul is completely bathed with Krishna's love when you do Sri Krishna Sankirtana. So these are the 7 effects of chanting the holy names of Krishna, or in general, 7 effects of Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which is not only chanting the names, it is also glorifying Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, all. So, with this slight description about the meaning of the shloka and 7 effects of Sri Krishna Sankirtana, let's discuss these 7 effects one by one in greater detail. First, Cheto Darpana Marjanam cleanses the mirror of heart. As Mahaprabhu's glories are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, the 11th canto Bhagavatam says, Krishna Varanam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagnaihi Sankirtana Prayair Yajantihi Sumedhasaha. Krishna Varanam Tvisha Akrishnam. Krishna Varanam means Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in a sannyasi form, and he does Varanan of Krishna. Krishna Varanam, Varanayati. So he is glorifying Krishna, or he is chanting these 2 syllables, Krish and Na. There are 2 syllables in Krishna's name, Krish and Na. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is constantly chanting these 2 varnas. Varna means syllable. Tusha Akrishnam, he himself does not have a dark complexion. He has fair complexion. Akrishnam. Krishna also means black. So, of course, we will We will discuss this shloka later in future sessions. But in this current session, I just wanted to highlight this one point. Sankirtana prayer. Yagnehi Sankirtana prayer Jantihi Sumedhasaha. Intelligent people worship the Supreme Lord through Sankirtana Yagna. That's the meaning. That's the main point in this shloka that's relevant for our discussion. So Sri Krishna Sankirtanam is a great yagna, is a great sacrifice. And that's the way of worshipping the Supreme Lord, especially in this Kali Yuga. Now, let's begin with Cheto Darpana Marjanam. As I said in the beginning, Chetaha means our heart or consciousness. Darpana means mirror. Marjana means cleansing. So, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam cleanses the dust from the mirror of Jiva's heart. That's the meaning. Now, what is that contamination? What is the dust? Cheta Darpana Marjanam. What is supposed to be cleansed? What is the dust or contamination? Three types. One is Anya Abhilasha. Abhilasha means desire. Anya Abhilasha means desires which are disconnected from bhakti. Desires that are not connected to the devotional service. So, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam can destroy those Anya Abhilasha. Then Bhoga means desire for enjoying worldly pleasures. Tyaga means renunciation. Now, Tyaga is very good. You should have renounced spirit. But what is Tyaga here? Renouncing things that can be used in Krishna service. Sometimes there are some sadhus, they say we are very detached. We don't even touch money. You can touch money. What's the problem? You can use that money in Krishna service. When you know the way of using money in Krishna service, what's the point of not touching money? What's the point of staying away from money? You should not use the money for your personal sense gratification. That is great. That renunciation everybody should have. But you can always use money for Krishna service. You can always use different resources in Krishna service. For example, there's a flower, and the flower is material. After all, it came out of earth. But that flower can be offered to Krishna, and that material object can be made spiritual. So, when there is a possibility of converting material things into spiritual things by dovetailing in devotional service, we should not restrain ourselves. We should not control ourselves. And that kind of detachment is not recommended. So, three types of contamination are Anya Bhilasha, material desires; Bhoga, desire for sense enjoyment; Tyaga means artificial renunciation, unwanted renunciation; Falgu Vairagya, useless renunciation. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhi Yukta Vairagya Muchyati. Yukta Vairagya means you should intelligently use everything in Krishna service. Nothing for me, everything for Krishna. That kind of detachment we should have. If you just stop at nothing for me and don't get into the zone of everything for Krishna, then our detachment is Falgu Vairagya. Prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastunah mumukshubhir parityago vairagyam falgu katyate. Means when you give up certain things that can be utilized in Krishna consciousness, then that kind of vairagya, that kind of tyaga is unfavorable for bhakti. And that unfavorable tyaga can be destroyed, can be cleansed by Sri Krishna Sankirtana. You see, Sri Krishna Sankirtana is Chitudarpana Marjanam, right? It cleanses the dust from the mirror of heart, and the dust is Anyabhilasha, Bhoga, and Tyaga. Clear? Then, when the mirror is cleansed by Sankirtana, one's pure spiritual form is reflected in the mirror. And one understands I'm a servant of Lord Krishna. So, these are the three types of contamination. Then, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is singing these verses, and Mahaprabhu himself has the experience of cleaning things nicely. In Gundicha Marjan, just before Rath Yatra, Mahaprabhu cleanses the Gundicha temple very thoroughly, along with all his associates. Shri Gundicha Mandiramatma Vrindaihi Sammarjayan Kshalayatah Sa Gaurah Svachittavat Shitalamujvalam Cha Krishnopaveshaupaikam Chakara. I mean, you know this shloka. Basically, the shloka says that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cleansed this Gundicha temple, and that is equivalent to the living entity, of course, Mahaprabhu is not living entity, by the way. Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord acting like a devotee and cleaning Gundicha temple. So the parallel can be drawn here. We can also clean our hearts by chanting the holy names of Krishna, by doing Sri Krishna Sankirtan, just as Mahaprabhu cleansed the Gundicha temple thoroughly, very thoroughly. Svachitta vat Shitalam Ujjalam cha. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made this entire Gundicha temple Shitalam, very cool, Ujjalam, very effulgent, like his chitta, like his consciousness. Basically, consciousness has to be very clean, very pure. And in such pure consciousness, only Krishna will manifest. So Mahaprabhu is cleaning Gundicha temple so that Krishna can come and sit there. Jagannath can come and sit there. Similarly, we need to clean our heart so that Krishna can come and sit here. And what is the process of cleaning the heart? Sri Krishna Sankirtana. So that's the meaning of Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Clear? Then, yeah, there are many other points that we can discuss, but I think we should do a little revision. After every point, I will do little revision. So what is Cheto Darpana Marjanam? Who will say? What is Cheto Darpana Marjanam? Shiva?
Cleanses mirror of the heart.
Okay. What is the contamination in the heart, Kamakshi? What is that contamination which Sri Krishna Sankirtana will clean?
Prabhuji, there are three types of contamination: Anyabhilasha, Bhoga, and Tyaga. Anyabhilasha is material desires, Bhoga is greed for sense enjoyment, and Tyaga is false renunciation.
False renunciation, useless renunciation. Very good. So you got the first point. Let's go to the second point. Second effect of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Bhava is material existence. Mahadavagni is this blazing fire. Nirvapanam. Sri Krishna Sankirtanam extinguishes the blazing fire of material existence. We saw the meaning. What is this blazing fire? Basically, the miseries. Three kinds of miseries. What are they? Adhyatmika, Adhidaivika, Adhibhautika. Adhyatmika kleshas are miseries which are caused by mind and body. So when you say Adhyatmika klesha, so these are specific difficulties that we experience on a bodily plane and mental plane. Sometimes our body itself will give us trouble, like you may get fever, cough, cold, or COVID. So body gives a lot of trouble. So that is Adhyatmika klesha. Then Adi Bhautika klesha means other living entities give us trouble. As you are sleeping peacefully, a mosquito may come and bite you. Or you are sleeping peacefully, outside some dogs will bark and they will disturb your sleep. Or even other human beings will trouble you in 100 different ways, right? I think many of us have experience of that. Then Adi Bhautika Kleshas. Adi Bhautika Kleshas are this misery is caused by other living entities. Adi Daivika Kleshas are natural calamities. Too much of winter, too much of cold in winter, too much of rain in monsoon, too much of heat in summer, or some other natural disturbances. So these are all Adi Daivika Kleshas. So these three types of difficulties that we experience are compared with blazing fire. And Sri Krishna Sankirtan can destroy this blazing forest fire of material existence in the form of these three miseries. So that's the second effect. Tell me, what's the meaning of the second line? You're going in line. Sri Ram. Second effect of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Extinguishes forest fire of samsara.
Okay, great. What is that forest fire?
Rojit, there are threefold miseries. Adhyatmic, which is caused by our own body, and Adi Bhautik, which is caused by others, and Adi Devik are natural calamities which occur, like too much of rain or too much of winter.
So these three types of miseries are compared with forest fire of material existence. Bhava Mahadavagni. And Nirvapanam. Sri Krishna Sankirtanam will extinguish these three types of fire. Then let's go to the third effect. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Shreya, as I said before, Shreya means auspiciousness. Kairava means white lilies. Chandrika means moon rays. There are different types of lilies and lotuses Some flowers blossom because of sunlight. And when sun rises nicely in the sky, then these flowers nicely blossom. And when the sun sets, they will close down, right? So these are one type of water lilies or water lotuses. Similarly, there are some different types of lilies. They bloom in moonshine. When the moon rises, in the night time they bloom nicely. So they are called Kairava. So white lilies. Chandrika means moon rays. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. What does it mean? Just like white lilies bloom nicely, blossom nicely, seeing the moon rays. Similarly, the soothing rays of the rising moon, just as soothing rays of the rising moon cause white lilies to bloom and enhance their whiteness, Krishna Sankirtan also expands the good fortune of jivas. Now, you compare white lilies with the jivas, all of us, okay? And the moon rays with Sri Krishna Sankirtan, right? Just like moon rays can cause auspiciousness to white lilies, Sri Krishna Sankirtan can cause auspiciousness to all the jivas, right? That will help us bloom. What is that blooming for the jiva? Basically, when a flower blooms or blossoms, nice fragrance comes out and its beauty is revealed. When the flower is like a bud, it's completely closed. Full fragrance will not be emanated from that flower. And also its full shape is not visible. It's very closed. But when it blossoms nicely, when it opens up nicely, you can see all the petals there, and you can also get that sweet fragrance from that flower. Similarly, when our consciousness is like very much withdrawn, and it's not fully blossomed, means our consciousness is meant to be constantly meditating on Krishna, applied to Krishna consciousness. And in that open, fully blossomed consciousness, Mukulita, fully blossomed consciousness, we can fully experience the love of Krishna and we can fully express our love for Krishna. When that experience of love of Krishna and expression of love for Krishna is restricted, constrained, then we are not living up to our full glory. Mahim nisve mahiyati. Living up to our full glory basically means loving Krishna completely with all our heart, mind, body, words, etc. So that is possible, that is made possible by Sri Krishna Sankirtana. When we engage ourselves in Sri Krishna Sankirtana, our consciousness will open like a blossoming flower, and we will get auspiciousness in our life, and we will be able to express our love for Krishna nicely, and we will be able to experience Krishna's love nicely. Krishna loves us constantly. But the point is, most people in this world, they don't even acknowledge Krishna's love towards them. They don't even understand that Krishna, out of so much of his love, is staying right within our hearts. Who loves us more than a person who stays right within our hearts? Who is closest to us? We might say, oh, he's very close to me. Initially, when the living entity is very small, the closest people to them are like parents, mother, father, like that. When they're little grown up, the closest people are their friends, classmates. When they're even more grown up, then they have their own family, wife, children, husband, etc. So every time our close people will change. The set of people who are very close to us will keep on changing as we grow. But there is one person who is always close to us. Whether you are a child or a youth or an old person or a human being or non-human species, whoever you may be, there is one person who is always very close to you, who will never leave you. And one who never leaves you in every circumstance is someone who has deep love for you, deepest love for you, and that is Paramatma. That is the Supreme Lord, who stays right within our hearts. So who can be closer to us than the person who stays right within our hearts? He's always close to us. He doesn't leave us. Relatives may leave us, friends may leave us, our body itself may leave us, but Paramatma always accompanies us. Krishna always accompanies us. So to experience that love of Krishna, to acknowledge and recognize that love of Krishna, and to express one's love for Krishna is the real life of a spiritualist. So when we are able to do that, that's living up to our true glory and living the way we are meant to live, isn't it? So that happens with Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. That's the real auspiciousness, Shreya. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. So Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, like a moon, showers its rays to all of us, rays upon all of us. And we, little living entities, rotting in this material existence, will be showered by these moon rays of Krishna Sankirtan. And then we'll develop auspiciousness in our life by loving Krishna and experiencing the love of Krishna. Next. Yeah, there are many other shlokas, but I'll keep it concise. I will not recite all the shlokas at this moment. One more, one small shloka we can recite. Madhuram madhurebhyopi mangalebhyopi mangalam pavanam pavanebhyopi harernamaiva kevalam. Madhuram madhurebhyopi means of all the sweet things, holy name of Krishna is the sweetest. Mangalebhyopi mangalam. Of all auspicious things, holy name creates the greatest auspiciousness. Pavanam pavanebhyopi. Of all purifying things, the most powerful purifying agent is Sri Krishna Sankirtana or Lord Hari's name, Harer Namaiva Kevalam. So this is about the third point, Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. It gives the highest auspiciousness or fortune to the jiva. So before going to the fourth point, who will summarize the third point? Yes, what is the third effect of the holy name of Krishna? This boy, Janaki Vinod. Yeah, you're speaking? Or should I repeat? We have already spoken before. Okay, no problem. Anirban Prabhu. Okay, if you are not unmuting yourself fast, then we have other enthusiastic participants. Yes, Krishiva. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. So, Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. So here it is mentioned that like in the moon rays, the white lilies are blossomed and their fragrance.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Kamakshi, you can speak.
Prabhuji, can I say?
Yeah, please.
Shri Krishna Sankirtanam gives great auspiciousness to us by blooming our Krishna Prema, love towards Krishna.
Thank you. Very good. Excellent. Next, fourth point. Vidyavadhu Jivanam. Vidya is of two types. One is material knowledge, second is spiritual knowledge. Material knowledge is called Laukiki Vidya or Jada Vidya. Then Paravidya or Parovidya is spiritual knowledge. Para means transcendental. So there is transcendental knowledge and there is mundane knowledge. Two types of Vidya. We are interested more in Paravidya or spiritual knowledge. Of course, some little material knowledge is required to survive in this material world, but it's temporary. You may have great knowledge to operate your phone. That's good. It's good. It's important to operate phone for your functionality here. Or you may have great knowledge of how computer works, how Zoom call works. That's material knowledge, but we are using it for spiritual service. So we need some material knowledge also. But material knowledge is not all in all. We should also cultivate spiritual knowledge. That is real Vidya. That is Paravidya, spiritual knowledge. So real Vidya is that potency by which one's intelligence is aroused towards Krishna. Actually, this Vidya is not only knowledge, it is also considered potency, Shakti. Vidya is Shakti. We need to acquire this Shakti, spiritual Shakti, real Vidya, by which we can go towards Krishna. That knowledge that directs you towards Krishna is real knowledge. You may acquire a little material knowledge and use it in Krishna's service, and that so-called material knowledge also will become a part of your spiritual knowledge, will assist you in your real pursuit of self-realization. So we may not hate material Vidya as long as we can use it for spiritual life. Next, Sri Krishna Sankirtan is the life of the bride called Paravidya. Spiritual knowledge, right? Paravidya is the bride here. Vidya Vadhu. Vadhu means bride. Vidya Vadhu means the bride of knowledge. Which knowledge? Paravidya or Laukiki Vidya? Paravidya. We are just saying that material knowledge can be dotted to enhance your Krishna consciousness or to assist you in Krishna consciousness. To that degree, it is fine. But ultimately, knowledge is supposed to be spiritual. So that Vidyavadhu is transcendental knowledge. Jivana means life. So Sri Krishna Sankirtan is the life of the bride called Paravidya or spiritual knowledge. Means by Sri Krishna Sankirtan, we become liberated from false ego and raised from Laukiki Vidya to obtain Sambandha Jnana. So when you say Sambandha Jnana, what is my relationship with Krishna? That is the spiritual knowledge that we are interested in. What's our relationship with Krishna? The goal of Paravidya is Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Just like Vidya Vadhu, she considers the consort as Jivanam. Vadhu considers the consort as Jivanam. Similarly, Paravidya or spiritual knowledge considers Sri Krishna Sankirtan as Jivanam. It's a life and soul. Life of all transcendental knowledge is Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. And our Narada Muni spoke to, who is this? Vyasadev. Very beautiful shloka. He says, Idam hi pumsas tapasah shrutasya va
Idam hi pumsas tapasah shrutasya va
Vishtasya suktasya cha buddhi dattayoham
svistasya suktasya cha buddhi dattayo
avicyutorthah kavibhirnirupito
vichyuto vritam kavi viniruptito
yaduttama shloka gunanuvarnanam.
tamasloka gunanuvarnanam.
In this shloka, Narada Muni speaks to Vyasadeva. Idam hi pumsaha tapasaha shrutasya. Pumsa means living entities, human beings. They may do tapasya. Shrutasya, they may acquire education. Svishtasya suktasya cha buddhi dattayoho. They may acquire buddhi knowledge and they may give charity. They may do svishtasya suktasya means they may engage themselves in different kinds of sacrifices and rituals. But the purpose of all of that is yaduttama shloka gunanuvarnanam. Avichyitorthaha, the infallible purpose of acquiring all this vidya and engaging in all these activities is uttama shloka gunanuvarnanam, is to glorify the qualities of Lord Krishna. So ultimately, all our vidya, all our knowledge must be utilized to attain Krishna. And that inspiration we will get by Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Sri Krishna Sankirtanam will inspire us to engage our knowledge in Krishna's service, to just connect through our jnana with Krishna. And it's not jnana yoga, by the way. It is pure spiritual knowledge. In jnana yoga, there are some people who may acquire some lot of knowledge, analytical knowledge, philosophical knowledge, speculative knowledge to attain some Sahaja Mukti. But a devotee acquires jnana. Devotee acquires vidya for the purpose of serving Krishna. Our knowledge is supposed to be knowledge of Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. Knowledge of devotional service. Knowledge of how to serve Krishna. You need to acquire some knowledge of how can I please Krishna? How can I serve Krishna? What are the glories of Krishna? To become more and more Krishna conscious. That kind of knowledge we should acquire. And Krishna Sankirtanam or Krishna's glories is the life and soul of all this transcendental knowledge. Okay, that is the fourth effect. Who will tell me the fourth effect of Krishna Sankirtanam? Others? Yes, Karthik, you can speak. Fourth effect of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. You need to unmute.
Prabhuji, real vidya means the potency by which one's intelligence is aroused towards Krishna. And there are two types of vidya, Paravidya and Lankiki Vidya. Lankiki Vidya means material knowledge, Paravidya means spiritual knowledge. And Sri Krishna Sankirtan is the life of the bride named Paravidya.
Excellent. You got the sense. Thank you very much. Next, fifth effect is Anandambudhi Vardhanam. Ananda means pleasure, happiness. Ambudhi means ocean. Vardhana means increasing. So Sri Krishna Sankirtan will increase the ocean of spiritual bliss. Tunde tandavi niratim vitanute tundavali labdhaye karana krodakadambini ghatayate कर्णार्धुतेभ्यः स्पृहं चेतः प्राङ्गणसङ्गिनी विजयते सर्वेन्द्रियाणां कृतिं नो जाने जनिता कियद्भिरमृतैः कृष्णेति वर्णद्वयी. Rupa Goswami says that Tunde Tandavini Ritim Vitanute Tundavali Labdhaye. When I'm chanting the holy names of Krishna with my tongue, or when the holy name of Krishna is dancing on my tongue, I desire millions of tongues. I feel that one tongue is not sufficient to sufficiently relish Krishna's name. I want more and more tongues. Next, he also thinks that 2 years are not sufficient to relish the sound of Krishna's name. I want to have more and more years. And he also says, Chetaha prangana sangini vijayate sarvendriyanam kritim. Means, when the holy name of Krishna is dancing in the courtyard of my heart, then I feel like all my senses are inert. All my senses have no role to play. I should just focus only on holy name and other senses should just keep quiet. So like that, he says that no jane janita ki yadbhiramrtaihi krishneti varnadvayi. I can't understand what great nectar is embedded within these two syllables. Krishna. Krishna. So much of nectar is embedded in these two syllables. So I feel like chanting and hearing this name more and more. So Rupa Goswami is experiencing that spiritual bliss, an ocean of spiritual bliss. And with every name he is chanting, with every quality of Krishna is hearing or speaking, his bliss is increasing. Actually, even in sadhaka stage also, we can slightly experience this, slightly at least. When you're hearing pure Krishna Katha, say Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, say Damodar Leela, or the way Krishna lifted Govardhan mountain, or the way Krishna is playing flute, when somebody is describing Krishna's qualities of compassion, gratitude, and all these wonderful qualities, you feel a sense of happiness within you, right? Your happiness is increasing. You feel more connected with Krishna when somebody is describing Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela. Thus, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam will increase our bliss at every step, will make us experience this rasa, experience this great happiness at every step. That's the power of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Any description of Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela will uh, help us uh, increase our bliss. The bliss that we get, the happiness that we get in material activities is very meager. It cannot fully satisfy the soul. It's like a human being is hungry and you give him grass. Will he be able to relish it? Will he be able to what to say satisfy his hunger? When a cow is hungry, you provide grass, cow is satisfied. But when a human being is hungry, you cannot give grass, whether it's dry grass or green grass. Both cannot satisfy the hunger of a human being. Or you are very thirsty and you take the person to the ocean. You go to take him to Mumbai beach or some Vizag beach, and there is ocean, unlimited quantities of water. Drink as much as you want. So will that ocean water satisfy your thirst, Sri Ram? There's so much water. Unlimited water. You just need one little cup of water, one little bottle of water, even if it's 1 liter or half liter or 200 ml also, you'll be happy with that instead of gallons and gallons, millions of gallons of water in the ocean. Why? There's an incompatibility. That salty water cannot be relished by a human being. Or this grass and leaves, they cannot be relished by a human being. Similarly, the soul cannot relish material happiness. There's an incompatibility between this flavor of material happiness and the nature of soul. The soul is meant to be experiencing spiritual happiness in hearing Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela. Basically, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam can give us spiritual happiness. But anything other than Sri Krishna Sankirtanam or anything on a material plane cannot satisfy the soul. It can satisfy your body to some degree. That too, when there is compatibility, if it suits your body. You may hear a lot of music, but every song will not impress your ears. Only some songs may impress your material ears. Even in that material pleasure also, only few things will actually satisfy you. You may have menu of 100 items. You may like only 2, 3 items. Karela, oh, I cannot eat this. Do this sabji, my God, don't give me. Okay, paneer sabji, okay, give me. In this way, we are very choosy in our menu also. Everything that is material, or even in so many material pleasurable objects, you cannot derive pleasure from every material object. Only few material things can satisfy your material senses for a limited amount of time. But what satisfies the soul is Krishna Sankirtanam. And that will constantly increase your bliss, expand your bliss. Ekantino yasya na kanchanartham vanchanti yevai bhagavat prapannaha atyadbhutam tacharitam sumangalam gayanta ananda samudramagnaha. Gajendra says that Ekantina devotees, they don't want any material pleasures. Na kanchanartham vanchanti. They don't desire anything material because they are Bhagavat prapannaha. They're completely surrendered to the Lord. And where do they derive pleasure from? Atyadbhutam tacharitam sumangalam. They take pleasure in the most wonderful Atyadbhutam narrations of Krishna Tacharitam, Sumangalam, which are very auspicious. And by singing these auspicious, wonderful activities of the Lord, Ananda Samudra Magna, they're immersed in an ocean of bliss. That's why Sri Krishna Sankirtanam is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Pratipadam. Every time it increases your bliss. That is the fifth effect. Tell me, what is the fifth effect of chanting the holy names of Krishna? Or chant Sri Krishna Sankirtanam in general? Others who didn't speak? Yes, Karthik. You are unable to unmute. Okay, fine. You can speak, Prabhu.
Yes, Roji. Roji, the Krishna Sankirtanam it increases our happiness and it increases our bliss. And soul cannot relish the material happiness; it can only relish the spiritual happiness. And
Thank you. Thank you very much. There is one more beautiful shloka about this Anandambudhi Vardhanam. Ya bhukti lakshmir bhuvika mukanam ya mukti lakshmir hriyoga bhajam Yananda Lakshmi Rasikendra Maule Sakapi Leela Vatu Madhavasyam Ya Bhukti Lakshmir Bhuvikamukanam. In this material world, there are so many kamukas, materialistic people. They want the opulence of Bhukti, Bhukti Lakshmi. Bhukti Lakshmi means they want the Lakshmi here is not just Lakshmi Devi. Lakshmi is generally opulence. They want the opulence of sense enjoyment, material enjoyment. Then Ya Mukti Lakshmi Hridiyoga Bhajam. There are so many yogis. They want Mukti Lakshmi, the opulence of liberation. Yalanda Lakshmi Rasikendra Maulehi. Rasikendra Maule means there are some enjoyers. There are some people who are very much absorbed in some enjoyment. Rasika. They want the Ananda Lakshmi. They want the happiness of Ananda. Means pure spiritual bliss. Sakapi Leela Vatu Madhavasya. So what sense gratification brings to materialists, what liberation brings to yogis, much superior to that happiness, Krishna Katha brings to a devotee, right? So Krishna Katha can give us greater pleasure than bhukti and mukti and other things. Therefore, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam is Anandambudhi Vardhanam. Sixth effect of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Pratipadam Purna Amrita Aswadanam. Pratipada means every step, every word that you hear or speak, which is connected to Krishna. Purna Amrita, it's like complete nectar. Aswadanam. So Sri Krishna Sankirtanam will enable you to taste nectar at every step. Every moment you feel very pleasurable, enjoyable. Initially, there may be some difficulty in relishing Krishna Sankirtanam, but eventually, slowly, gradually, you will be able to relish Krishna's name. Initially, when you are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, you may feel a little bored, right? Did you ever feel boredom when you are chanting the holy names of Krishna initially, or even now also? But you keep on chanting, 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 one day you will feel happy. Initially, to sit in Bhagavatam class, you feel little bored, right? Initially. But as you keep on hearing, you eagerly look forward for class. When is the class? When will there be class in temple hall? And when you go to temple on a festival day, you wait for class, Radhashtami class, Janmashtami class, or when will the darshan be open? Initially, when new people come, they come to temple, they see the deities, they take some selfies and then go away. They don't have so much devotion initially. They just come out to see something beautiful. Oh, who is that? Who is there standing on the altar? Mahaprabhu. Who is Mahaprabhu? They ask like that. So in this way, initial days, your connection with Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela may be very feeble. But the more you take darshan, you get the devotion and you become eager for that darshan. The more you hear Krishna Katha, you become eager to hear more Krishna Katha. The more you chant the holy names of Krishna, initially you may feel boredom, but as time progresses, you feel like chanting extra rounds, right? Initially, you may begin with one round, that too with great difficulty. And after a couple of years, you may come to 4 rounds. Then slowly you may come to 8 rounds. Then you take a wow, I will chant 16 rounds. You'll whole life I will chant 16 rounds minimum, you'll say. And some special festival days come, like Sharat Purnima or some Kartik month, you will chant, oh, this month I should chant 20 rounds, or I should chant 25 rounds. Maybe I'll chant 35 rounds this month. You keep on increasing your rounds, right? Once you're getting taste, the taste for Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela is increasing day by day, right? Or even if you don't experience the taste, you don't give it up. Sometimes sadhakas, they may not experience taste, but still they will chant more, right? They're chanting 16 rounds. And in the 16 rounds, they don't feel so much pleasure because we are sadhakas, mind is distracted. But still, you commit to 16 rounds, and sometimes you even come to 25 or 32 or 64 or whatever, depending on the occasion. Although you don't have sufficient taste, you feel like chanting more because some taste is developing slowly, some faith is developing. Initially, even to chant one round is like a big project for people. They will be chanting 32 rounds or at least 16 rounds. So the taste is increasing. So slowly it will come. Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam. We need to be patient. We need to be patient to come to the stage of experiencing pleasure or nectar at every step with your relationship with Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. Swadu, Swadu, Pade, Pade. One class is not sufficient. I want to hear more classes glorifying Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. 16 rounds are not sufficient. I want to chant more and more rounds. Our little description of Krishna's compassion is not sufficient. I want to hear more and more Krishna's gunas. So like that, there is a lot of enthusiasm and it will manifest slowly, step by step. We need to be patient. That is the sixth effect. Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadam. There are many other shlokas. Okay, anyone would like to say the sixth effect of Sri Krishna Sankirtana?
Prabhuji, like the sixth effect is that we experience pure spiritual bliss at every step. But first, we feel that first our connection with Krishna is very feeble. Like we are bored at times. But over time, if we sincerely practice, then we become eager to experience Krishna's Nam, Rup, Guna, Leela. And then when we as sadhakas want to chant more than 16 rounds, this is a sign that we are developing our faith. Our faith is in the developing stage.
Okay.
And we have to be patient for this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Let's go to the last effect. But sixth effect has little more explanation. I'm trying to summarize because we only have 6 minutes. Leela Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri. These are 4 unique qualities which are not existent in many other forms of Krishna also, and definitely not in the normal living entities. Leela Madhuri means the nectar, the sweetness of Krishna's pastimes. Prema Madhuri, Krishna is so lovable. Venu Madhuri, Krishna plays enchanting flute. Rupa Madhuri, Krishna's form is extremely beautiful. So these are 4 extra qualities. So the more you perform Krishna Sankirtanam, the more you expose yourself to the process of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, the more you will be able to relish them. Actually, when the iron is rusty, it cannot be so much attached to the magnet. But when the iron is not rusty, it will immediately get connected to the magnet, right? So iron particles, when they are very pure, they will immediately get attached to the magnet. Similarly, when we are devoid of any lust or envy and other bad qualities, malicious qualities, our attraction towards Krishna becomes more intense. Initially, our attraction towards Krishna is not that intense. It's like either formality or some kind of faith, some kind of traditional faith, or you may look forward for some benedictions or some assistance from Krishna and relief of your miseries, etc., etc. For some reason, which may not be that pure, you will connect to Krishna. But over a period of time, Krishna will captivate your mind so much. Krishna will capture your heart so much that you just fall in love with Krishna, that you don't want to give up Krishna Sankirtanam at all. That's how Krishna's energies and Krishna's attributes will make us. For that, we need to do Krishna Sankirtanam very, very frequently with full absorption. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, and that Sri Krishna Sankirtanam will give us the ultimate spiritual victory, relieving us from all this materialistic thoughts and materialistic life. So for Sri Krishna Sankirtan to enable the jiva to relish the nectar of Krishna's four qualities: Leela Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, and Rupa Madhuri, and ultimately attain four rasas: Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, Madhuri Rasa. So we need to be regular in Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. It has that potency to help us taste nectar at every step. Then seventh effect, Sarvatma Snapanam. Atma is one's own self. Sarvatma means completely. And when you say Sarva Atma, it's like you're including your body, mind, soul, everything, whatever you have. Snapana means bathing. So Sri Krishna Sankirtana will completely bathe our body, mind, soul with thoughts of Krishna, with the nectar of Krishna. There are 8 limbs. There are 8 limbs of bhakti. Actually, 9 limbs. In that, one limb is Kirtanam. This Kirtanam is the life of other 8 limbs. Means all other 8 limbs like Sravanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, all the other 8 limbs of bhakti are very much connected to Kirtanam, are dependent on Kirtanam. For example, you are doing Sravanam. In that Sravanam, there is holy name, right? Smaranam, there is holy name of Krishna, right? And all other activities of devotional service are including the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. Thus, Kirtanam is one of the foremost activities in bhakti. So it can completely bathe us. So Jiva, who is engrossed in gross bodily designation and is covered by the gross and subtle bodies, can be relieved, can be cleansed of all contamination by Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Snapana means bathing. When the body is dirty and you take a bath, you become clean. Similarly, when the soul is dirty, you take a bath in Krishna Sankirtanam and the soul will become clean. What is the dirt on the body? There may be some mud. You are playing in the streets or playing in the playground. There's a lot of dust there, and that will come on your body. Or you work in a garage, car mechanic shop. All the grease and all the oil will just come on your hands, right? Your hands may become black, or you may paint. You may do some painting work. All the paint will go on your body. So body becomes dirty due to various reasons. And when you take a bath, then the dirt is gone. Similarly, soul becomes dirty with envy, pride, lust, greed, and other bad qualities. So when you bathe the soul in Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, Sarvatma Snapanam, then you will be able to experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness. So these are the various effects, 7 effects of Sri Krishna Sankirtana. Now let's revise one by one. What's the first effect? We are concluding. We are on time, or we are a little beyond time. First effect. What is Cheto Darpana Marjanam?
Prabhuji cleanses the heart.
Okay, great. Cleanses the mirror of heart. Then the glory of Sri Krishna Sankirtan is that it cleanses the mirror of heart. Second effect. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam means
extinguishes blazing forest fire of samsara.
Correct. Third effect, Shreyah Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam means
Prabhuji, it showers the blessings which the moon rays do, the cooling effect. The blessed moon, blessing moon.
yes, just as moon rays will help a water lily to blossom, the moon rays of Krishna Sankirtana will help our consciousness blossom. That's the third effect. Fourth effect. What is the fourth effect? Oh, sorry, I showed. Vidyavadhu Jivanam. Yes, Kamakshi.
Prabhuji, life of all transcendental knowledge.
Life of all transcendental knowledge. Fifth effect, Anandambudhi Vardhanam. Sri Ram.
Increases ocean of bliss.
Correct. Sixth effect, Yashoda. Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam. So Krishna Sankirtana will enable us to taste nectar at every step. Last, seventh effect, Sarvatma Snapanam. It bathes the soul of everybody. So these are the 7 effects of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Thank you very much. Next Friday, we'll discuss the second shloka. There we will discuss the 3 glories of Krishna's holy name. Today 7, next 3. And after that there is 4. There's a question? Yes, please. Prabhu, you can raise your hand if you have a question. And those who don't have questions can lower their hands. Swarupa Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Sada Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji. Session is so beautiful. I have a question. What is the in-depth meaning of Sankirtan itself? Is it glorifying the Lord's Nama Rupa Guna Leelas in association of the devotees? Or if you do it at home alone, is that also still called a Sankirtan? Or reading of Bhagavatam is also considered as Sankirtan? So what is the meaning of Sankirtan here in this?
We discussed right in the beginning of the class, Kirti means glory. Kirtana means to glorify. Sankirtana means to glorify in a congregation, means in a gathering of multiple devotees. So Sri Krishna Sankirtana means together when all the devotees glorify Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, that is Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Now, as far as associating with devotees and glorifying Krishna is concerned, sometimes it may not be possible for you. As you are saying that if you do it at your home, is it not Sankirtanam? Definitely. Even if you do it alone also, you are trying to be Krishna conscious. But as much as possible, when we associate with other devotees, then we can relish Krishna Katha better. But if because of some physical constraints or some geographical location constraints, you are unable to go to temple on a regular basis, that's fine. Whenever you get time, you go, and there is online association also available now. But point is that Sankirtana basically means glorifying the Lord in congregation along with other devotees. Bhaktya Sanjataya Bhaktya. We develop our devotional tendencies in the company of other devotees. Bhakti is best relished in the association of devotees. Okay, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. We meet only once physically in a congregation, but rest of the days we are just doing through online only. So that's why I have that doubt.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Many devotees are able to do only once in a week. Once in a week, Sunday feast, they may go to temple. Next, Priyanka Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. So my question is like Shravanam. So the more in the beginning of the bhakti stage when we were new, we were regularly following like hearing, reading, and chanting according to whatever was provided by our seniors. But as we prolong in bhakti, we see that we are so engrossed in other responsibilities. We take up more seva and everything, so somewhere or the other we compromise on either reading or hearing, and when hearing is going on, then reading gets affected, and now that when reading is going on, again hearing is getting affected. And the major thing which we observe is by hearing, if we are not hearing every day continuously for at least for some time, our chanting also, the quality gets lowered, and the we go more into the materialistic, we get again entangled into material desires and other entanglement. So how can we as a practicing sadhaka manage and not compromise on hearing, but how to manage and juggle between all these three kinds of limbs of bhakti? Can you just elaborate on this, Prabhuji? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I think you said two things. One is the contrast between hearing and reading. When you're reading, when you're focused on study, then you may compromise on hearing, or when you focus too much on hearing, then you may not you may compromise on studying. And you also mentioned about this Ravana Kirtana or hearing studying versus service, if I remember it right. Yes, initially there's a lot of emphasis on hearing. Oh, you should hear, you should hear. And once you spend some time, somehow the hearing goes in background. Hearing or studying will go in background. I'll comment on hearing and studying a little later, but let me focus on service versus Shravanam at this moment. See, when we are serving Krishna, taking up a lot of responsibilities in Krishna's service, that's amazing. However, if we don't take sufficient doses of Shravanam, then our service may appear dry, or one may even think that it's like material activity that I'm doing, or one may act on a material platform while serving Krishna. Service to Krishna is spiritual platform, definitely, no doubt. But one may do it with material consciousness. One may get too caught up in the material aspects of this service by getting into quarrels with other devotees, or getting into conflicts due to difference of opinions, or see only the material side of it, not understanding that the purpose of this activity is ultimately to please Krishna. So all these thoughts may come when we don't sufficiently balance our seva with Shravanam. We have to hear Krishna Katha, and we need to regularly nourish ourselves and equip ourselves with the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna to be able to effectively serve. And there is another extreme where people just focus only on studying and Shravanam, hearing, but they don't contribute much. Yes, Sri Krishna Sankirtana is glorious, but they don't serve. They don't contribute to Krishna's service much. They don't take up any responsibility, either in a congregation or in a temple or in an ashram or at their home also. They may not sufficiently take responsibility. Actually, whatever we are hearing, we can realize it when we do service. As Krishna also said, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. So you need to approach a guru and learn about Krishna consciousness in three things, in three ways. Pranipata, be submissive, respectful. Pariprashna, ask relevant questions. Till then, the discussion is on knowledge level. Submissively asking questions. But Krishna says the third thing, seva. Pariprashnena sevaya. Just by asking questions and acquiring knowledge is not sufficient. We need to render service. Service gives us the opportunity to realize whatever we have studied or heard. So we need to do service to realize the knowledge that we have acquired through studying and hearing. And we should also regularly study and hear so that we remain aware of the glories of the person whom we are trying to serve. So both are important. Now let's take the discussion to Shravanam versus Pathanam, hearing versus reading. When you're hearing, you are with the speaker. When the teacher is speaking something, when the speaker is speaking some pastime of Krishna, presenting certain lessons from the pastime, or explaining some philosophical concept and presenting his or her understanding, then what happens is you are with the speaker, you are nourishing your consciousness with the experiences and realizations and the maturity of that speaker. That's amazing. But you can't pause in between. Of course, nowadays in YouTube, we are hearing from YouTube, we can always pause the lecture and then take some notes and contemplate. But generally speaking, traditionally speaking, when you're hearing 1 hour class or 2 hours class, you are with the speaker, you are with the flow of the speaker, and you can't pause and reflect. But when you're studying a book, you're studying Bhagavatam, now you are reading one shloka, and when you're reading one shloka, you are reading that one paragraph in the purport which is connected to certain aspect of the shloka, and you can put the book down and then reflect 5 minutes, connect it with your life. So reading gives you that opportunity to pause, reflect, and move ahead. Take a pause, just reflect it, revise things, and connect it with your personal life, connect with any other pastime, and then continue. So it happens. So you can, at your own pace, you can do. But whatever you understand through reading a book is only based on your intelligence, right? So whatever is written in the book, you will understand with your own maturity, your own experience, your own reflection, your own ability to analyze. But when what is written in the book is being explained by another devotee, an experienced devotee, you will understand it more than what is written here, right? Thus, hearing provides a greater advantage in understanding the pastimes with a more mature perspective. But reading gives you that luxury to pause and reflect before you proceed. So both have its own advantages. So ultimately, what we need is doing both. Of course, when a devotee is not very educated, cannot read properly, some simple villagers also can become devotees. They may get initiated. They do tremendous amount of service. All that is based on their Sravanam only. They don't have Patanam. And by the way, traditionally, there are no books. Books were not existent 5,000 years back. Only Vyasdev has put all this philosophy into writing. But earlier, it was only Sravanam. There is no Patanam. There were no books in those days. But in Kali Yuga, there are books. So, for an overall holistic understanding and experience of Krishna consciousness, we need to both read and hear plus serve. Does it make sense, Mataji? Whoever has asked the question.
Yes, Prabhuji. It actually makes a lot of sense. Actually, a follow-up question was like for hearing earlier in the stages, like it was very easy to take up those lessons and start hearing. But now it's like due to time when we are not hearing much, the link has been lost. So how do I revive that back, and what should I start hearing first and then go to like philosophical? Is very heavy now. We are not going, it's not going in when we are hearing anything philosophical. So what would be best right now for me to again step back into the game of hearing? So if you could suggest.
Start somewhere. Begin somewhere. You hear. If you have lost the habit of hearing for a while, no problem. You can get back to hearing. You can attend the Bhagavatam classes that are happening in the closest temple, or if closest temple is far, you can always hear the online class. And wherever you are getting inspiration, you begin somewhere, and let's see how it goes. And this specific suggestion, someone who knows you personally can give. Maybe some senior devotee or counselor or mentor in your locality who knows you better, who has been observing you since quite a few years in your Krishna consciousness. They can suggest better something specific. But in a general way, I can say that even if you have some gap in hearing, you can always resume it. And even if it is little austere, you can begin somewhere and slowly you will get into the normal mode. And as you said, philosophy may sometimes not go in. Yeah, you can always hear philosophy to some degree and then balance that hearing with pastime. Yeah, there is pastime also, there is philosophy also in Bhagavatam. So if too much philosophy like Bhagavad Gita, Uddhava Gita, Kapila's teachings, all these are not going in, fine, you can hear a little bit of that, and then you can hear simple pastimes like Bali Maharaj pastime, Prahlad Maharaj pastime, and Krishna's wonderful pastimes. You can balance that hearing with some philosophical dose and some kind of inspirational dose through pastimes. So both are required. So philosophy is required for the intellect, and soothing pastimes are required for the heart to nourish for the mind. So in both ways, we need to sharpen ourselves. You can begin somewhere if you have lost the habit.
This is Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dhanavad Pranam.
Kalpana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Wonderful class, Prabhuji. I would like to ask you how to associate with pure devotee, Prabhuji.
How to associate with pure devotee? One
Yes.
way of associating is by hearing from them. Second way is by serving them. Through seva and shravanam, we get sangha. When that pure devotee or exalted, elevated devotee is giving some katha, go and hear. That's association, associating with their consciousness. When you get an opportunity to serve them, yeah, do some service. That's another kind of association. Okay, Madhusu.
But I'm not getting any service, Prabhuji. So that's what only I'm attending online classes and all, doing chanting, then reading Bhagavatam and all. But still more, I want to associate, Prabhuji.
You don't have any temple close by?
Yes, little far, Prabhuji.
Once in a
But
while.
yeah, I'm in 56,
Okay.
Prabhuji, but I have to also, depend on my son or daughter, Prabhuji.
You can do one thing. Service may not be on a regular basis. On a day, in service may not give you an opportunity to regularly interact with the person. But service can be taken like a project, and in 1 month you can complete it. In 2 months you can complete it and give it. So some services are very quick. For example, you're cooking for somebody. Cooking may be by half an hour or 1 hour only. That's like one service. But you may take a long-term service and you can execute it for 1 month or 2 months. There are different types of projects people are involved in. So that's another way of serving. But don't worry when you don't have that physical opportunity. Whatever opportunity you have, that much you do. Especially when the age is advancing, you may not be able to do so much of physical service. That's okay, not an issue.
Then one more doubt, Prabhuji. You see, I'm reading Bhagavatam, what you said, Prabhuji, this is can't understand because through Guru Maharaj only we can able to know. I'm attending the class, Prabhuji, but still, if I have any doubt, if equal the classmates, can I clear my doubt, Prabhuji? If you don't.
Even amongst our classmates, you will find a lot of devotees who understand the subject better than us. So learning is important. From where we learn, they may be seniors, they may be juniors, they may be equals. You can learn from any bona fide source, anyone who has a better understanding than us.
But I have to go there own time. But still I'm writing and keeping. But see, I'm attending your classes also, Prabhuji. But I'm writing and that memory power is less, very less for me, Prabhuji.
Don't focus on memory. Don't focus on memory. Focus on internalization and realization more than memorization. Even if whether you remember what you have read or heard or not, you are getting nourished. Soul is getting nourished. We may eat so much food, but we may not remember the menu, what we ate. 1 week back, what did you have for your breakfast? You may not remember. But because we ate breakfast 1 week back, we are still alive. Similarly, 1 week back, we must have heard some class. You may not remember what we have exactly heard, but soul is nourished. Next, last question. Janki
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji. Vandal Pranam Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. My question is related to this only, Prabhuji. I keep on reading Prabhuji, but I don't remember anything, Prabhuji.
I already
If
answered.
somebody asks me something, so I feel so bad because I heard it, but still I don't remember. So at that time, what do I do, Prabhuji? So even if I heard, I feel ki, what is the use of hearing though I don't remember anything? If I want to tell something to somebody, I can't remember, Prabhuji. What do I do, Prabhuji?
What's the use of eating when you don't remember what you ate? If you cannot remember what you ate, you may not remember what you have heard also. I just answered the question before you asked the question. We may not remember. I also read so much, but I don't remember many things. That's fine. We are taking darshan every day, but we don't remember what color dress the Lord wore. You may have your wallpaper on your desktop and that's there for 1 year and you don't change that wallpaper also. Every day darshan you don't change, right? So you capture one darshan and keep it as wallpaper, you may see it. And many times devotees may keep wallpaper on their phone. They don't even realize which color dress the Lord is wearing, what are the ornaments that the Lord is wearing, what color garland the Lord is wearing. That's fine. When we are seeing the Lord, when we are hearing about the Lord, when we are studying a book, we are nourishing our souls. Soul is getting nourished. Soul is coming closer to Krishna. Consciously or unconsciously, your connection, your sambandha with Krishna is getting strengthened, undoubtedly. Whether you remember it or not, it's a detail. You don't have to worry so much about remembrance or recollection. Memory and recall are very, very small aspects of Shastric study. The ultimate aspect of Shastric study is not memorization, not recollection, but it is realization, a transformation of heart. So whether we know it or not, somehow the heart is getting transformed by hearing Krishna Katha. And we are coming closer to Krishna, even without our own notice. So don't focus so much on memorization so much. If you can, that's great. If you can't, no worries. But nourish yourself with Krishna Katha. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We'll meet next Friday, 7 o'clock. Hare Krishna.